Jim. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you? Nice to meet you.
Bree. Nice to meet you. All right, so when you were thinking about bringing this to life, what was the first thing that you wanted to 100% get right?
Wow. I think what we wanted to get right was it was an opportunity to give each member of the Trinity their own story. And it was also another opportunity to see each of them in a milieu that we hadn't seen them in before. But also dip into the kind of classic DC Western and sword and sandal epic and the horror stuff. And I think it really came together. We were really fortunate.
And when you were thinking about this, did you have specific scriptwriters in mind that you wanted to bring onto the project?
All the writers had worked with me on previous Tomorrowverse movies, and they're friends, and I love them. And there were other writers that I couldn't bring everybody on because essentially there were 3 stories to tell. But at least I got to bring them on. It kind of felt like a victory lap, and the comfort level is very high.
How did you mesh each story together at the end?
So Jeremy wrote the Batman Sword and Sandals, and then Ernie wrote Wonder Woman Western, and then Josie wrote the 50s Superman horror movie. And then it was essentially my job to mush them together. Yeah. And we broke the individual stories before, but I had a general idea that they would all meet and then fight the big bad. And there were also some secrets that we were hiding from other movies that we were able to release at the end. So there was kind of a lot of ground to cover.
Awesome. Well, we're really looking forward to it, and thank you so much for your time.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. So what was it like to bring this project to life?
It was very exciting. Like when I read the script, I got to play in 3 different worlds that I never get to play in this. It's doing a Western, doing a film noir, doing a Conan. You never get to do that, especially animated DC characters. It's almost never. You might get a Jonah Hex on something, but it's very rare that you get to play any of those, never mind 3 in one movie.
What was the most exciting part about bringing them together besides being able to play in the different worlds?
I think the filming style. So like being able to do something like take an inspiration for these. So when we talked about it, me and Butch talked about it, it was like, we want Sergio Leone in this, like Good and Bad and the Ugly, A Fistful of Dollars, that kind of movie. And then Twilight Zone, for another one, and film noir, and then Conan the Barbarian, fantasy kind of like barbarian world. To tell the pacing and the storytelling differences between those and being able to express those was extremely exciting and really fun to play with.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bree. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too. What was the most exciting thing to write in this script? Without spoilers, I guess.
Without spoilers.
Yeah.
The fact that I get to do any sort of fantasy, any sort of sword and sorcery, and the added benefit of putting Batman in that is cherry on top. I mean, I'm a huge fantasy nerd, so the fact that I've been able to even attempt this has been amazing. And the fact that they let me do it. Jim, I give all credit to, because he keeps hiring me, and I'm very grateful.
Awesome. Did you pitch this idea?
We all got together in Jim's house, and it was during COVID, so we were very far away. And we all just kind of talked through kind of the idea of where we were going, and just kind of like it all formed from there. And we kind of knew that we wanted different genres to play with, and that would lead to the mystery of what's going on in this movie.
Awesome. Well, we're really excited, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's nice meeting you.
It was nice to meet you.
What drew you to this project?
A paycheck.
All right, perfect.
No, I mean, I love these characters. I've been doing them for 30 years on and off, and it's great to have the opportunity to finally do some different turns on the characters, because we pitched it to DC and Jim Lee, like a whole batch of these, and how they're gonna set up and hook up with each other. And we always had in mind that once we got to Warworld that we were going to be doing them in different time periods. So that's what was the reason.
Are you a Western fan?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, since I was a kid, I was, Good, Bad, and the Ugly. I watched it to death, when it was on TV, and then the video, DVD, and Blu-ray, and there's about, I'd say, 800 spaghetti westerns ever made. I think I've seen at least 600 of them.
Who is your favorite characters to see in this universe?
Well, I mean, Wonder Woman as Cowgirl is great. I love it, because it's the spaghetti western feel. But I also like the Warlord, and I was able to do him justice because he hasn't had barely anything in animation in 30 years. So only once before did we do him in Justice League Unlimited, but it was only a half-hour episode.
What differs this from Long Halloween? Like, what did you bring to this project that you didn't bring to Long Halloween?
Well, I mean, Long Halloween was basically the start of what we were doing, and then it was like evolving from that because we knew we needed to bring the Justice League together, which we did in fits and spurts in different movies. But this is the first time that the core group of the Justice League actually form and get together.
Well, we're looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Tell us about what it was like to write Wonder Woman in a Western setting.
Well, the cool thing about this was that we were going to be doing the big three, and it's kind of a Green Lantern Emerald Knights structure in that they're going to be 3 story vignettes, and then they were going to all come together, and hopefully for a satisfying and slam bang ending. So then we were like, well, we're pitching all different, the 3 characters in different worlds, and so I ended up pitching Wonder Woman as Clint Eastwood, the woman with no name. She's few words, but she's ready with her whip. The lariat the golden lariat. It becomes a golden whip, but she can use a 6-shooter too.
That's awesome. So, are you a huge Western fan then?
I am a Western fan, especially kind of the classic Westerns, and Butch kind of ran with this, the animation supervisor, and I believe that when she clip-flops into town, it's kind of an homage to Once Upon a Time in the West.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So did you guys work, all 3 of you, together to come up? I know you said that you did your own separate, but how did it work collaborating together to kind of make it cohesive?
Well, so Jeremy Adams, Josie Campbell, and myself, and Jim kind of worked, and we did this pitcherama about what hero should be in what world, and then we kind of knew where it was going.
Okay.
So since the Wonder Woman is the first part, I knew I didn't have to set up anything before it.
Nice.
Right? But it was harder for Jeremy and hardest of all for Josie, because she was last, because the heroes then kind of start combining and finding each other, right? So I just had to deal with Wonder Woman in the Old West, and I was like, yes, this is going to be great. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it, and we're really looking forward to it. So, yeah thank you.
All right.
Yeah.